So our next guest says young conservatives have leapfrogged ahead of Democrats when it comes to messaging, and the Republican National Committee is spending millions to make it happen. Award-winning journalist Kyle Spencer joins us now. Her new book is entitled Raising Them Right: The Untold Story of America's Ultra-Conservative Youth Movement and Its Plot for Power. Well, congratulations on the book. Tell us about this this youth movement and how the far right is really starting them young.
Yeah, so the conservative movement has been working on building up young people and attracting them and creating kind of surrogate celebrities for many, many years. And we're really starting to see them reaping the benefits of this. Today, you have people all over the place and a lot of times on Twitter and these other social media outlets who are really sending the message that young people ought to trust conservatives over liberals and that they ought to really move to the conservative side. The other thing that you see a ton of these folks doing is really trying to push this idea that Democrats are out of touch, not taking care of you, out of control, and that the changes that are happening in this country, which are very scary to a lot of people, are really the fault of Democrats who aren't taking care of business.
And so what are the issues that they're using to sort of bring them in young? And also, who are these far-right celebrities that are attracting them?
Yeah, so you have far-right celebrities like Charlie Kirk or Candace Owens, who I write about in my book. But you also have folks, they're constantly making new celebrities. So, you see someone like Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed a couple of people at a rally, who's now a celebrity who's beloved on the right. I mean, this is the kind of thing that they're able to do. It's really a celebrity-making machine. And
wow.
Young people love Kyle, and they love Charlie, and they love Candace. And so the issues that they try to focus on are really culture war issues. These guys want to stay away from what are the Democrats really doing. They don't want to talk about Build Back Better. They don't want to talk about Dobbs. They don't want to talk about the environment. They want to stay on these lefty kids on your campus are dangerous. They're lazy. Biden is falling off his bicycle all the time. The Democrats are too old. Look at these homeless people. Everything's chaotic and out of control. Transgender folks want to take over. Culture war issues to stay away from actual issues, which might get people really thinking about what Dems are doing for them.
Kyle, you spent a lot of time reporting this out, 4 years. You embedded with a lot of these groups. You really understand it. So where are they looking for these young kids? And let's say, who is they? Who are the people who are doing all of this training?
So the training is been built up for a long time. There's an organization called the Leadership Institute. It was started in the late 1960s, early 1970s. The Leadership Institute is basically creating foot soldiers for the right. It is housed in a building outside of D.C. The Leadership Institute raises $25 million a year to teach kids how to activate, how to door knock, granular stuff. What should you put in your pamphlet? What should you put on your sign? What color should you use on your sign? How, when you go door knock, should you walk on someone's lawn? How should you convert people? So this is the type of stuff that kids are learning. As you can imagine, we're living in a very weird world now where the conservatives are the one who seem to be very in touch with how people communicate and what is going on with, politically. And so what did the conservatives do immediately when they started seeing stuff happening on school boards? They started teaching kids, you know what, we're going to teach kids how to run for school board office and talk about all this CTR stuff. So, it is invasive and it is big and it is very organized.
Kyle, is this at all a regional thing? Are there parts of the country where young people, where they're finding young people more receptive to these ideas and this pitch? Is it a rural, suburban? How would you describe the places where this phenomenon is happening?
So originally, this phenomenon was really focusing on college campuses, right? And the idea was we're going to get these college kids. But what we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years, the way people use social media, is that a lot of these activists realized, these young activists, that they didn't have to just focus on college campuses, that didn't really scale, right? That what really scaled was to go online and to talk to people on social media. And then you could get millions and millions and millions of people. And these right-wing activists like Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA and like Young Americans for Liberty, which is another group I follow. These guys are online and they are working on messaging on a daily basis to figure out what is the most coherent message to get kids attracted to them. And so they can get them in all corners, right? They can get them in all corners. But what I argue in my book is that when you see groups like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, and a lot of people find them to be the most alarming right-wing groups, but those are very radical groups that are going after fringe kids. These groups are going after mainstream kids, your kids, my kids on college campuses and beyond.
The book is titled Raising Them Right, the untold story of America's ultra-conservative youth movement and its plot for power. Very compelling. Kyle Spencer, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.